Hi, so I'm going to show you how to set up XAMPP, which is basically gives you Apache, a web server, and MySQL database. It just lets you actually see the output of a PHP file. So for example, if you have like the WebDev 101 code here, and you try and open it up in the browser, all you'll see is code. You're not actually going to see what the web page looks like, which is like the website. But once you have this installed and you get it running, then you'll be able to see your local copy of this. Alright, so the first thing is you want to download XAMPP and install it, which is pretty straightforward. I have it installed here. And so once you have it installed, then we just need to do a little bit of setup first. So go ahead and start Apache and MySQL. And just type in localhost into the URL bar, and it'll show you the XAMPP pages. First thing you want to do is to set up all your security options. So you're basically running a web server, so anyone can access like this like the pages being served up by localhost. So I've already set this up, but if you're running it for the first time, it'll more likely say unsecure here. And you just click here to set these passwords. So the XAMPP directory protection protects people from being able to see this page. So let's say I'm not logged in. Then type in localhost. It's going to ask me for a password, which I don't have if I'm an attacker anyways. The other thing is their MySQL root password. And so that is for phpMyAdmin, which is like the front end to MySQL. That's the password that you're setting right here. All right. So now, once you have that, then we're going to be setting up a virtual host. So you'll notice that this is a PHP file. So you've already got PHP running and working. The problem is that these files are all stored in the XAMPP directory. So you could hypothetically put PHP files in here, like the WebDev 101 website in here, and it would work. But more likely, you'll just want to have the WebDev 101 code somewhere else. And so we're going to set up a virtual host to point to it. And while we're at it, we're going to create a name. So what I'll do is that I'll just make it so that when you type in webdev101/ into your web browser, you'll see the WebDev 101 website. So right now it doesn't work, but we're going to make it work. So, all right, so the first thing is to set up the virtual host file. So if you go to C XAMPP, then go to Apache conf extra, and then httpd-vhost.conf. Edit this file. I have some code that I'm going to put along with the video that I'm just going to copy and paste in here right now. So basically, you have this thing called server name, which you set to WebDev 101, and server alias, which you also set to WebDev 101. So that's what we want to type into the URL bar. That's like the name of our server, as it were. And then we have document root and directory, which are the same thing. And that is like where all our PHP files are. So in this case, it's www. A quick way of actually getting this path, if you don't want to type it all out, is to just navigate to it. Then right-click up here and say copy address as text. So you'll see it's the same as what I have here. All right, so now that we have our vhost file set up, the important thing to remember about modifying anything inside the Apache folder is that you need to restart Apache for it to really take effect. So go ahead and stop Apache and start it again. So this still doesn't work, and the reason why is because we don't know where WebDev 101 is. So whenever you go to a website like google.com or something, the name is just a convenience, but what you're actually working with underneath that is IP addresses. And so what's the IP address that we want for WebDev 101? Well, it's not really like out there on the internet. It's just on our computer here. So the IP address is just going to be localhost, which is 127.0.0.1. And we're going to specify that explicitly in our hosts file. So I'll show you how to do this in Windows. And if you're on, if you're on Linux then or Mac, then it's going to be your etc host file. So /etc/hosts. Now, if you're on Windows, then I'll show you where it is. The important thing is that you have a text editor and that you run it as administrator, because we're going to be modifying some system files. So on Windows, it's in your C drive, Windows, System32, drivers, etc. And then change the file type filter to all files and say hosts. Open it up. And in here, we're just typing in the basically localhost IP address, then tab, then WebDev 101. Basically just the same as this thing up here. All right, and then you save that file. And let's see what happens when we refresh. All right, so now I'm getting the web page. And just to prove that this is indeed coming from my computer and not someplace on the internet, I'll just go ahead and modify the index.php file, which is what we're looking at. So you see you want to make a website, I'll just go ahead and change that to I learn to make a cool website. So I just modify that and refresh it. And now it says, want to learn to make a cool website. And so there you go.